Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone and rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in this gospel bar, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. It says layoffs are getting worse as job market collapses in 2025. As we know that the funding to these programs have been cut. There will be no EBT come of November 1st, 2025, which is actually Saturday of this week. And a lot of people are going to be in disarray, all right, perplexity, as the scriptures say. But nonetheless, we've been speaking on these times from our apostles and elders on down, brothers, teachers, leaders, prophets, whatever you want to label us as. We've been telling and warning of these dark times to come, and how everything that's being done is done by design, okay, systematic. Because for the simple fact, they want to opt into a digital future or a digital concentration camp when everything you see around you will be led by algorithms, AI, okay, which will be powered by the mark of the beast, or MOTB, the chip. This is why they're building these data centers up, and erected them overnight, so to speak. But article here says world largest food company is cutting 16,000 jobs due partly to automation. And I remember they stated by 2027 that 80% of the job sector or the corporate sector could be ran through AI. So AI businessmen, factory workers, hell, fucking Ford, GMC, Chevy, all these particular plants that they're making these particular parts of vehicles. Eventually, all of it, or they have a plan in place to replace it with AI or with automation, robots. Okay? So it says Nestle will cut around 16,000 jobs worldwide over the next 2 years as it works to slash costs, including through automation, the world's largest food company said Thursday. So this is the world's largest food company, which Nestle is just horrible, all right? The ingredients, it's, going back into Monsanto and DuPont, those elitist parent companies, that was over your food supply, over a decade ago. Nestle is one of them. Well, Nestle is one of them, man. So-called small hats that invest in these corporations, and this is, what you're harboring. But nonetheless, it says they want to cut costs, and they're using automation to package food, which should let you know something ain't right about that. And this is the food that you people are going to be consuming. But it says here, mass layoffs, about 12,000 would affect white-collar professionals. See, that's corporate. As Nestle targets operational efficiency, including by automating process using shared services. The company behind such brands such as Kit Kat, Nesquik, said in a statement. So a damn robot going to be bagging up your Kit Kat bars and your Snickers. It says another 4,000 roles will go in manufacturing and the supply chain as part of a measure to improve productivity. But it says the overall job cuts will amount to almost 6% of Nestle's workforce. But it says the world is changing and Nestle needs to change faster. New CEO Philip Navarrato said in a statement, and this will include making hard but necessary decisions to reduce headcount. In reality of it is, they just want to put you people in disarray because ultimately it's about control. All right. But it says here the announcement comes as the rise of artificial intelligence has fueled fears over potential job losses in various industries. It says the chief automated or executive in Anthropic, a leading AI lab, warned in May that AI can cause a dramatic spike in unemployment. All right. So people are going to be losing their jobs to AI, man. Now, you watch that movie Matrix, Terminator, iRobot, and all those futuristic movies. I mean, they went into the concept of an AI-led future, AI governing your world. And hell, when you go into the Matrix, which is pretty much on par with the Terminator movies, it was basically a war, man versus machine. You see? So now this is coming to light because Esau likes to predict and he likes to put his sorcery in these movies, man. Like Matrix, that was all predictive programming. Terminator, predictive programming, fucking Total Recall, predictive programming, Judge Dredd, Demolition Man. Hell, in Demolition Man, they even had the whole Siri thing and the automated cars, and this was back in 1993 when that movie came out, man. So this was already part of the plan. But it says here, Nestle says on its website that it uses AI in a number of functions, including research and development. But in the last annual report, it also said it employs automation and advanced analytics and promotional activities, such as work on discounts and in-store displays. But it says the planned layoffs add to turmoil at the Swiss company after the unexpected removal of its previous chief executive in early September. It says Laurent Fixet was dismissed for failing to disclose a romantic relationship with a direct subordinate, which breached Nestle's code of business conduct. But the company's organic sales and measures of underlying growth rose 4.3% in the third quarter, and it also said Thursday. But Nestle's reiterated its commitment to investing over the medium term despite ongoing risk from macroeconomic and consumer uncertainties. But the biggest market is North America, and consumers in the United States have grown pessimistic in recent months as they worry about inflation, which can worsen because of higher U.S. tariffs. But however, the consumer spending has held up so far. All right, but nonetheless, they're getting ready to cut a lot of these jobs, man. And 16,000, that may not be a lot, but over a course of 2 years, yeah, that's quite a bit. And this is not the only sector. Okay, all these people that was getting these tech degrees and they was building up. There's this place out here called like Cerner or some shit, or CERN. It's called Cerner. It's like some type of forgot. It was like a firm, like people that like do building and coding, you know, and all that other medical shit. And they build up these big Cerner data centers out here in Kansas City, only for them to go down during the time of the pandemic. So they tore down a whole mall shopping area, which Jake used to shop at, to build this multi-million-dollar complex. And it was only operating for about a year and a half. Now the shit is pretty dry. All right, the pandemic killed that off. You see? But anyway, let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes 12:1. And it says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, where the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. So we have to be on point. And Heavenly Father told us to seek him early while he may be found. Okay, the scripture says, seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Let me find that real quick. Seek ye the... Yep, Isaiah 55:6. Seek ye Yahweh while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Okay. It says, let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. And let him return unto Yahweh, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our power, for he will abundantly pardon. Okay. So now this is the time to really lock in and home, man, because I was listening to the elder brother Walter Zock's video from Cali, man, and he said that the testing grounds are near, when we all are getting ready to be tested, man. All right, and he threw out some scenarios that made you think, like, that makes sense. Things may get physical. Brothers that have families and wives and children, hey, the Lord can use that to test you. Hell, you know, we may go 2-3 days without eating. Hell, we gonna have to be on a pilgrimage. There's a lot of things that you have to consider into the times we coming into, because it ain't just gonna be no ice skating into the kingdom. It ain't gonna be like that. All right, we all gonna be tried, and we gonna have to overcome things, man. Different personal battles. All right. Unlike what Nate said a while ago, well, we're just going to go into the kingdom. There's not going to be a time of trouble. The time of trouble, we're in it, and we're proving it through these lessons, man. This is why so much of the lessons are geared more towards destruction and judgment and getting your mind focused. But it says here, while the sun and light or the moon or the stars be not darkened or the clouds return after the rain, it says, in a day when the keepers of the house should tremble and the strong men should bow themselves and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Right. Okay, that goes into the pessimist. Because when you go back to the article here, it says down some, it says the consumers have grown pessimistic. Okay, and who are the consumers? You people, the goyim, the sheep. Okay, the people that get up and go to work every day, pay taxes, you know, buy cars. You know, we're consumers, all right? We don't produce or anything. We just indulge and consume, because everything you got in your apartment or your house is outsourced or is consumed or is created by another nation, man. You know, like your TV, your television ain't made here in America. Your video games ain't made in America. Okay, your clothing is not made in America. Your furniture is not made in America. You know, have the food you get is from different places. The banana, all this shit, man. Hell, the shit that they use to put your appliances, the appliances is not even made here. You know, at a point in time, you had General Electric, which was consumed here in Babylon, but now Whirlpool, all that shit is gone, man. You know? So, yeah, it's safe to say that we're in a full-fledged collapse. But it says, and the door should be shut in the streets, and when the sound of the grinding is low, he should rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music should be brought low. Yeah, all the daughters of music should be brought low. This music is horrible, man. All right, you got this nigga, Lil Boosie, coming to Kansas City tomorrow, which can turn deadly because, you know, when Jake get around that type of frequency, they tend to turn up and them demons hop out, man. You know, that shit is called the Boo Bash or some shit like this. Nigga, hang it up already. Are you damn near 50 years old? You still making trap music, but you know, it is what it is. But it says, and when they should be afraid of that which is high, and fear should be in the way, and the almond tree should flourish, and the grasshopper should be a burden, and the desire should fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the street. Yeah. All right. It says the desire should fail because people they're not gonna hold up their bargain. They're not gonna hold up the fact of being patriotic anymore. Okay, they're gonna take matters into their own hands, and they're gonna say, you know what, we're gonna get it how we live. You know, and it says mourners go about the streets. Yeah, because you're gonna have marauders. Okay, you're gonna have men that's on the prowl. You're gonna have men that's looking to rob, steal, kill, and grape. Okay, you're gonna have martial law troops on the streets. Okay, you're gonna have criminals. You're gonna have all types of shit, man. So we're gonna have to be Yahweh shied up in that day, because hey, without it, you cook, because these people, they cook, they're gonna die, they're gonna destroy each other. All right, so let me play a couple of minutes of this video and get another precept and I'll end it. But here we go, this annoying ass voice, but at least them putting the face to him make it a little bit more tolerable. But you know, you get the point. But let's go.
The job market in 2025 is in complete freefall. Major companies are laying off thousands while CEOs rake in record bonuses. College degrees don't matter anymore. 6 years of experience means nothing, and even federal workers are getting permanently cut. We're talking 7 million unemployed, less than one job per person searching, and a 94% recession prediction nobody in power will acknowledge. I've compiled for you today TikToks showing how catastrophic this is. If you have a job, do not quit. Let's jump into it. Let's start with someone who did everything society told her to do.
I got laid off from my corporate job yesterday. And I think that this is the reality for a lot of Americans right now, and it needs to be shared because America is not doing well right now. We have a 94% prediction rate that the recession is going to come, but yet our frickin' administration hasn't even made the move to actually say that a recession is coming.
If you're like me, then you're someone who is very disorganized but has always dreamed of budgeting for themselves. One thing I have always...
And let's actually call it what it is, a depression. People can't afford groceries, they can't afford rent, they can't afford buying houses, they can't afford having babies, they can't afford having the kids in general if they already have them. We are not in a good spot, y'all. I know that I'm just a number in a company, but I thought I was okay. You're going to think that you're okay because you've worked there for so long or you have the right experience. Like, you guys, I have an undergraduate in marketing, a master's in business, 6 years of paid social...
And see, you women, you got played because you put all your time into being feminist and career women and boss women, boss babes and baddies, to the point you didn't consider the latter end. Okay, you didn't consider this thing falling. You thought that this place was gonna be a stepping stone forever. No, man, everything comes to an end at a point in time. Okay, the scriptures say better be the end of a thing than the beginning. This place, that's crazy how people really thought that this place, this shows you how people don't study history, because if you understand the history of the Greeks, the Babylonians, the Assyrians, okay, the Egyptians, the Romans, they've all had their permanent peak to prosperity, and then what happened? At they peak, then they all were brought down. Same thing with Rome. Show you how inadequate people really is, man, because they don't know these basic things, man. History tells the tale, okay? History repeats itself all the time. That's all it is a big history lesson. All right. Matter of fact, let's go here to the book of Ecclesiastes 1, and I'm going to start at verses 9. It says here, the things that have been, it is which shall be, and that which is done is that which should be done. And there is nothing new under the sun. So everything you see has been here at a point in time, just in different forms, but even kingdoms are reincarnated. And it says here, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It says it had already been of old time, which is before us. Okay, so that means that Rome, America, Greece, the Babylonians, the Assyrians, they all have come, reached their preeminence, and then they all were destroyed. So for the fact that you've traded in temporary instant gratification for short-term results for a long time of pain and misery, the joke is on you people. All right, and we don't feel bad for. I don't feel bad for none of you niggas, and definitely not you. You wicked women out there, to say the least.
Social media experience both on a strategist and manager level. I have done people management for at least 3 years. I'm a senior level in my career. And yet, when I was hired to do a senior level role, I was forced into entry level positions. I was doing entry level work as a senior level strategist.
Well, your senior level role should have been for your husband and taking care of your family. And this is another thing too. You've put your men on the back burner for your careers and your jobs to go serve somebody else. And now when the shoe was on the other foot, you're going to look for these same men to protect you, but they're not going to be there.
Yes. All while at the same time being asked to reduce my workload with AI, and our team was having layoffs every 3 months. I should have seen it coming. I really should have. But the thing is that it was not something that I saw coming. Because the day before that they laid me off, I was literally talking coverage plans with another employee who was going on leave for months. How am I supposed to sit there and not think that I'm safe in that moment? I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that we live in a world like this where my manager wasn't even the one that fired me, by the way, or laid me off. It was frickin' HR, and they read off a script, but my whole team got laid off. And this is the reality for a lot of Americans right now. My partner is a first responder, so I'm very lucky for the fact that I can be leaning on him for support right now, because luckily his job is secure, thanks to the fact that number one, his job is essential, and number two, he has a union behind him. What I will never understand is why corporate agencies have not unionized. We're not allowed, right? We're not allowed. That's part of it. We'll get fired because at least in this corporate world, they're always going to side on the side of business because that's what's making the government money. This world right now is not supporting people. It is supporting business. You are just a number, unfortunately. So please prepare yourself for shit like this. I wish I would have. I wish I'd been applying to other jobs months ago. I just was so dumb to not realize the signs. I want to talk about it. I think people need to talk about it. I think we need to make this more public. We all saw the jobs report. It was awful. Getting laid off on the day that the jobs report goes out, and it's 22,000 instead of 75,000 new jobs. You know how discouraging that is? If you know of anything in the marketing space, let me know. Use my comments as a way in which to maybe trauma dump. I don't care.
OnlyFans subscription is finna get a lot cheaper.
I'm here for you guys. I can't believe this. And I'm really sorry if you're going through this too. Here for you.
The fact that she's overqualified and got shoved into entry-level work tells you everything. Companies exploit experienced workers by paying them.
Nah, she just got humble. That's what the fuck she get. All right, that's what your ass get. Ezekiel 7, and I'm going to start at verses 10. It says, behold the day, behold it is come, and the morning is gone forth, and the rod have blossomed, pride have budded. Okay, that's pride talk. Oh, I'm the senior level executive, and who gives a flying fuck? All right, your ass is senior level fired now. That's what you is. All you proud people out there, man. You people don't get it. But it says, violence is risen up into a rod of wickedness. None of them should remain, nor should their multitude, nor any of theirs, neither should there be welling for them. We're not going to cry for you people. Okay, we're not going to cry for you people. You've been warned. We've been telling you. It says, the time is come and the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn. For wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. Is right. All transactions are going to stop until this new system is emerged. But the seller should not return to that which is sold, all that they were yet alive. For the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, which should not return, neither shall any strengthen himself any iniquity of his life. and they that have blown the trumpet, even to make all ready, but none goeth to the battle. For my wrath is upon the whole or the multitude thereof, man. So everybody's getting ready to feel it. You know, whether you rich, poor, slave, free, bond, it don't matter. All right. Go down here. Verse 23, it says, make a chain, for the land is full of bloody crimes, the city full of violence. Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. And I will also make the pump of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled. And destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there should be none. Okay, it's going to get real chaotic, sticky, as I like to say. Mischief shall come upon mischief. Rumor shall be upon rumor, and they shall seek a vision of the prophet. But the law shall perish from the priest, and the counsel from the ancients. So don't expect us to give you a damn answer about anything. The Lord said he's going to shut us up. So, and that time is coming soon, especially with all the fact that they're talking about shutting down Bible apps and not being able to access Bibles online. Yeah, it's not looking good for the average person. Isaiah 19, and I'm going to start at verses 14. It says, the Most High have mingled the perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and have caused Egypt to earn every work thereof. As a drunken man staggered in his vomit. Yep, everything from point A to point Z is getting ready to be tainted. It says, neither should there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail or branch or rush may do. And in that day, Egypt should be like unto women, and should be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which she shaken over it. Okay? So anyway, I can go a little longer, but got things I got to wrap up on. So with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Shem Shai. Lord's will you edify to the next lesson. Shalom.
Last, while extracting senior level output, her team had layoffs every 3 months. That's not restructuring. That's systematic gutting, and the government won't say recession out loud, despite a 94% prediction, because admitting it tanks consumer confidence. So they let people suffer in silence. Now, I want to show you the actual numbers that prove we're in a full-blown crisis.
Okay, let's talk about the economy and layoffs. I've got all of these layoffs today. Check this out. Paramount laying off. Also, Nestle laying off 16,000 people. Also, Amazon is cutting 15% of their workforce. 6% is the unemployment in Washington almost 2 months ago. And that was before the government layoffs. The average is 4.3%, but again, that number is old. So definitely the average for unemployment is going to skyrocket. If you did not know, companies lay off when they are losing money because payroll is the highest expense. People aren't spending money for 8 straight months in a row. Also, something very important to remember, no jobs are being created because corporations are not spending money. We only have 0.98 jobs available for every 1 person that is unemployed. Over 7 million people unemployed and counting. Have you been laid off recently? Is your company laying off? Also, you can check the website warntracker.com for a layoff notice for a lot of companies. Light up these buttons and follow for all things personal. Have you been laid off recently? Is your company laying off? Also, you can check the website warntracker.com for a layoff notice for a lot of companies. Light up these buttons and follow for all things personal finance.